There is a phrase that HR departments love to whisper into your ear during onboarding week. It sounds warm. It sounds protective. We have great benefits here. You hear it and your shoulders relax. You think, finally, a company that has my back. You sign the offer letter for $15,000 less than the competing offer down the street because this one comes with gold tier health coverage and a 401k match. You tell your spouse, don't worry, the benefits make up the difference. But here's what nobody in that HR office will ever tell you. The word benefits is one of the most successful pieces of propaganda in corporate history. It is a word engineered to make you feel grateful for something that is quietly costing you millions of dollars over your lifetime. You are not being taken care of. You are being tethered. And the leash is dressed up in a lanyard that says, "Welcome to the team. My name is Lona, and I spend way too much time dissecting the invisible chains that keep high-income earners living paycheck to paycheck." If you have ever stayed in a job you hated because you were terrified of losing your health insurance, or if you have ever turned down a better opportunity because the new company's benefits package looked worse on paper, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because today we are going to perform a forensic audit on employer-sponsored health insurance. We are going to break down the golden handcuff economics of group coverage, the hidden opportunity cost buried inside every paycheck, and the terrifying reason the entire system was designed this way in the first place. I am going to show you the math that proves your free health benefits are actually the most expensive thing you have ever purchased. Here is the fundamental problem. We think of health insurance as a gift, a perk, something extra the company throws in on top of our salary because they like us. It is not a gift. It is compensation you never see, which means it is compensation you cannot compound. Every dollar your employer spends on your premium is a dollar that did not go into your paycheck, which means it is a dollar that never touched your 401k, never touched your brokerage account, never had the chance to grow at 8 or 10% a year for the next 30 years. The average employer contribution toward family health coverage in 2025 sits north of $18,000 a year. Read that number again. $18,000. That is not a rounding error. That is a car payment. That is a mortgage payment. That is money that vanished before you ever got a chance to make a decision about it. Now let's talk about the real trap, the one nobody names out loud. It's called job lock. Job lock is the economic term for what happens when you stay in a position you would otherwise leave, purely because you are afraid of losing your health coverage. Maybe you hate your manager. Maybe you have been passed over for promotion 3 years running. Maybe there is a job across town paying 20% more with better culture and a real path forward. But you don't apply. You don't even update your resume because somewhere in the back of your mind, a voice whispers, "But what about the insurance? What if I switch and there's a gap in coverage? What if my kid needs a specialist next month?" That fear is not irrational. It is exactly what the system was built to produce. Let's go back in time for a second, because the history explains everything. Employer-sponsored health insurance did not emerge because companies suddenly developed a conscience. It emerged during World War II. When the government froze wages to control inflation, companies could not compete for scarce workers by offering higher pay. So they got creative and started offering health benefits instead, since those were exempt from the wage freeze. The tax code cemented it a few years later by making employer-paid premiums tax-deductible for the company and tax-free for the employee. And just like that, an accident of wartime policy became the permanent architecture of the American labor market. You are not covered by your employer because it is the most efficient system. You are covered by your employer because of a loophole from 1943 that nobody ever bothered to close, because too many people now depend on it to survive. Let's dig into the actual math, because this is where it gets ugly. Say you are 32 years old, married, with 1 kid, working a corporate job that pays you $95,000 a year plus that gold tier family health plan. Your employer is quietly spending around $22,000 a year on your premium. If, instead, your employer paid you that $22,000 directly, and you bought a high-deductible plan on the open market for, let's say, $9,000 a year, you would have $13,000 left over. Invest that difference every year from age 32 to 65 at an average return of 8%. and you're looking at over $2 million sitting in a brokerage account by retirement. $2 million. That is the hidden price tag of great benefits. It is not free. It is a forced transaction, where you trade $2 million of future liquid wealth for the illusion of present-day security. Now you might be thinking, Lona, health insurance on the open market is a nightmare. It's expensive, it's confusing, pre-existing conditions used to disqualify you, and one bad diagnosis could bankrupt you without a group plan. And look, I hear you. This isn't a video telling you to cancel your insurance and gamble with your family's health. That would be reckless. What I am telling you is that the emotional comfort of group coverage has a real, quantifiable price, and almost nobody calculates it before they accept a job offer or turn one down. You are allowed to want security. You are just not allowed to pretend it's free. Let's talk about the deductible trap, because this is where good benefits quietly rob you a second time. Even with employer coverage, the average family deductible in 2025 has crept past $5,000 before insurance pays a single additional dollar toward major care. Combine that with monthly premium contributions taken straight out of your paycheck, which average around $6,000 a year for a family plan even after the employer's contribution, and suddenly your great benefits are costing you $11,000 a year out of pocket before you've even used the coverage in a real emergency. People walk around telling themselves I have good insurance, while their bank account tells a different story every single January when the deductible resets to zero and the bills start again. Here's the number that makes me physically ill. The opportunity cost isn't just the premium. It's the premium plus the deductible plus the years of your life you spent trapped in a job you hated because leaving felt too risky. Job lock doesn't just cost you a premium, it costs you your career ceiling. So what's the actual solution here? Ask HR for the actual dollar value of the employer's contribution to your health plan. Stop letting fear be the only variable in your career decisions. The golden handcuffs start to look less golden. Save them from the leash. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.